as I did mention in the announcement, I will be doing the class this morning. I didn't expect you guys to show up, so don't worry if you didn't get a chance to join me live today. You can watch the video. It is a holiday after all, so we don't expect you guys to do this. Now, I'm doing the online class because we don't know what's going to happen in the next few weeks. There's a strike brewing, and there might be some interruption with our studies. So I want to make sure we're not too far behind, and it doesn't hurt to have this class as a reference for you guys to go forward. Okay. So let's continue. I'm going to share my screen, and Wednesday, when I see you in person, we will actually go over some of these advanced materials. Okay, so let's get started. So we're approaching the halfway through the semester. As I always keep you up to date with every class where we're at. I know it's time is moving quite fast. We do have the Illustrator module almost finished. Today would be class number 7. I'm going to make that visible to you guys so you can see it. Last week, we covered a very, very important, insightful, advanced fills exercise with the sun gradient. So I hope you all were able to do that with me. I think I do have some of the it's a discussion topic basically, and what I want you guys to do is kind of respond to this and upload your version of it when you get a chance. If not, not to worry, just focus on your project at hand. You do have the last one that's due. It is the application splash banner for Illustrator. Okay, I know you have the UI kits that was due last week, and pretty much we're good for the semester. So just make sure you get that all wrapped up by the end of the term. I believe the due date for that is, just double check here, on the 16th. So it is due on Wednesday. Okay, that will be technically our last day before we go during the break for the holidays. All right, so on the 16th of this week. All right. So this is class 7. It's an overall review. I do have a picture of a fruit. I believe we picked a banana from last semester. What I like to do is give you the opportunity to choose a fruit for me. The banana is a good one because it has a certain type of shape. We can do like an apple or something. We can do different fruits. Maybe I'll switch it up a little bit, and this will be visible to you. It's just an image of the banana here. Um, like I said, we can do any fruit. It just depends on the level of detail you're willing to embark on this advanced fills journey in Illustrator. So we'll stick to the script. We'll stick with the banana for now. And like I said, when I see you Wednesday, we can do something different just to kind of show you some other variations of this. Okay. Let's go ahead and download this. You can just click here. You can just right click on the image, save image as. We're going to save this one right to the desktop just to get started. And like I mentioned earlier, you can pick any fruit if you have a preference. You can also go here and download the original file that way as well. Maybe when I'm finished after, I can upload the finished results so we can see it. And this will pretty much cover all the, important facets of Illustrator from the ground up. We took it from basic drawing skills to the pen tool and fills in general. Last week we really kind of covered all the gradient fills there's to administer, and today's going to be more like the blend tool and the gradient mesh tool. Those are the only two remaining, and after those, there's nothing really left. In terms of the main fill applications. Of course, there's a few more things in Illustrator you can learn. They're like the miscellaneous parts. I mean, it is a big application after all. If I could teach you Illustrator for another 7 weeks, I'd be happy to. But I did cram or concentrate all the important parts in 7 classes. So I do hope you find it, um, you know, informative and enough to give you the confidence boost to do things on your own. That's the main intention of this. At least you get like a good kickstart of the greatest digital drawing program on the planet. Okay, so, and then we're gonna continue it up with Photoshop after in the next 7 weeks when I see you guys back here after the holidays. All right. So open Illustrator. Let's get started here. We're gonna create a new file. The new file could be like an 8.5 by 11 letter page document. So I'll go to print. I'll select inches from here and I'll switch it to a landscape format. This will give me the nice screen resemblance for my um, orientation. Okay, so 11 by 8.5. Click create. There we are. Now, I also want to show you some other things that we haven't really dabbled with. And I know it's the big topic in the past few years, like Chat GPT and AI. So Adobe does have it inherited in all its programs. Used to be a lot of, even this is like a beta version, generate vectors beta. You could actually do some pretty cool things with it. All you have to do is just kind of click on the prompt and you can write your own prompt and create a content type. You can be more specific of what it is, like icons, subject, scenes. Now, the reason why I didn't get into this in the beginning is because it's not going to teach you the drawing techniques. This kind of does the work for you. Is it foolproof? No. Do I resort to these kind of things professionally? No, I don't actually. Unless I really find something useful, chances are you're not going to get something that um, specific that you might be looking for, like the logos we create, the technical drawings. Is it good to have fun with and maybe to complement your work in some way? Sure. Okay. I'm sure it'll help you in that sense. For example, let's get a picture of a banana. Okay. Banana icon. Let's see if we can generate an image. It's telling me to create a rectangle first and define the size of the generated graphics. But I'm sure it'll give us a banana here also. No, we did put an icon in there, so it might give me like a banana icon. Now, this might be good for your, let's say you're doing some other UX UI kits, and you might want to generate some icons with this. That'll help you. But there's a banana icon. Not bad, actually. There's another variation here and another variation there. So it's not bad. I was like pretty impressed with this quick little design for an icon of a banana. So this is all thanks to the generative vector tools here. Let's try another one. This time I'm going to type banana and I'll do like a subject instead. Okay. And I can do like style preferences. I can do effects, what type of design I want it to look like. Maybe I'll do like a geometrical design. Color and tone. I'm going to do auto just to automatically pretty much specify. Maybe I can do warm, cool, different type of colors. I'll do like default for now, and I'll see how this generates the banana. I'll tell you right now, what we're going to do in this exercise will be, so this is the banana here, right? And there's another one, another style over here, another one over here. Not bad. Not bad, actually. But how about if we're looking for that realistic look? So it looks like almost real. Like this is not bad in terms of like an iconic view or an illustration of a banana, but obviously doesn't match our skill set of what we're able to do. If you can pull this off and do something with it, that's fine. I mean, the tools are there for you. I can't deprive you, not showing you, the AI stuff. But you could definitely play around with it and generate a lot of cool things in Illustrator now. It's still considered the beta version, but I mean, they had the beta version out for like a year now, so should be close to the real version, I guess. It's always going to be in development. All right. There's also something called recolor, and you can choose a different color wheel spectrum. This is kind of cool, actually. we can really, really mess around with the colors here. I get some color guides going, right? And that's under recolor. And there's also advanced options. You can also create your own colors this way from the different hues and swatches that you have. It's harder to control, I think, this way. You really have to engage in this color adaptation to get it to work. But it is there if you guys want to mess around with it by all means, right? The other option is ungroup. Okay? Ungroup means you can actually go ahead and flatten it, and you can literally ungroup it again, and that'll give you the option to change the colors and the shapes within the object as well. So it is pretty cool. It is still in, I guess, development or perfection mode. AI is still going to be the way of the future, like it or not, we'll have to live with it. But I do want you to remember your drawing skills are still, if not more important than, understanding AI and other things, of course, because there's nothing that, can't recreate half the stuff we did, in the past exercises and stuff, especially when it comes to drawing with the pen tool, tracing, drawing, recreating, object editing, all that stuff. Now you combine that with AI, what you're gonna get, and now we're talking, right? Now you have the ultimate combination of skill set and artificial intelligence working together. So that's why I think it's good that we can kind of utilize this, especially for your level now. You've learned Illustrator for like the past, 2 months, like a month and a half, 2 months almost, and it's time to take advantage of the rest of the tools. Now let's get back to the exercise here. Before I implement the banana, I'm just going to hide this for now. Um, there's also the type tools and stuff, by the way. You can reset different things here, different parameters. So this whole um, this the proper name for it, contextual taskbar. There we go. Sometimes it gets in the way. I like to hide it. Okay, I like to hide the bar so I can focus on my drawing techniques. But you can always bring it back by showing it this way here. Okay, just to let you know. I'm gonna hide it for now. And let's get down to business. So we're talking fills. We know how gradients work. Now we're gonna show you all the different types out there. I'm gonna do the three ellipses or the three circles exercise that I like to do. They're both gonna be circles. So I'm going to use a black fill here, black fill, no stroke. Okay. So make sure the outline is set to none. It will affect the outcome. I'm going to hold option drag. Here's another one. Here's another one. It's like a James Bond movie. Okay? We got the three circles here. The first circle, I'm going to give it a standard gradient fill, something that we're comfortable with. To do that, I'm going to go right down here underneath the fill option and do a gradient fill. It changes to the type of gradient to a linear, from a linear to a radial gradient. Okay. And recently we also learned the free-form gradient as well, which we can apply different points and control different ways, which is kind of interesting actually. We're going to stick to the traditional ones. We'll do with the a radial gradient for now, and I'm going to reswipe it from this corner here to the bottom corner this way. My aim is to achieve a three-dimensional sphere the best way possible. I'll be honest with you, I think the gradient tool is still probably the best way to make a 3D looking object with a two-dimensional application, which is a gradient that looks like a 3D by focusing the light source on this corner here and the shadow reflection on the other side. Now, the other fill methods are, so this next one I'm going to introduce to you was also around in the earlier days of Illustrator, even when I, first started learning the software, and it's called the blend tool. And the blend tool is quite remarkable, especially in this program. A lot of other programs try to inherit the blend tool, but there's nothing like Illustrator the way it works. So let's apply the blend tool now. The blend tool requires us to have two or more objects. In this case, I'm going to create another ellipse shape. So here's another circle here. I'm going to move this circle on top of that circle. So the smaller circle goes on top of the larger circle. I will change the color of that little circle to white because that's going to be the ambience. I'm going to make it a little smaller. Notice how I'm focusing the same lighting position. It's like a global lighting setting that I have set up from here. I'm transferring it to the circle over to the left, to the right, I should say, in the middle. And I'm going to use the blend tool right now to blend this object to that object. Now, very important, make sure there's no stroke applied. If you do have a stroke, it'll affect the blend and it's not going to look realistic. So let's go ahead and do that. I'm going to use the blend tool, which is located right on the tool palette here. It's a tool by itself. There's not too many. It does give you a quick tutorial now. You can do multiple shapes from multiple blends. All you have to do is click on various shapes. Try to click near the middle of the shape, not at the edge, to get the right blend to work. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and use the blend tool. Again, it's right here. W is the shortcut for the blend tool. We're going to click on the smaller circle right in the middle. We're going to click on the larger circle around here somewhere, and we're going to see the blend occur. Now, to control the blend, what you want to do is double click on the blend tool itself. And you do have things like smooth color, specified steps, and you might see something like 254 steps. That's like the default. If I minimize that to 5 steps, you'll notice how the blend now has 5 steps. 5 plus 2 is 7. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 shades of gray, and you have the white and the black. Okay. Again, but if you're looking for that look, it might work. Just like the AI generated fill gave us limited colors with the bananas and other icons, you could use the blend tool and specify more steps. That's why this is like, as far as control, you can't beat this because it is what it is. It is what you're typing in, and it's very instrumental. Okay, in terms of you applying it as an artist. Let's go to the maximum, which is 256. Okay, and then you'll get the smoothest blend up here, 256. All right. Another advantage about the blend tool is you can use the group selection tool because everything you do an effect with, like blend or, um, even when you create symbols or when you create generative AI and stuff like that, it's still considered like a grouped object. So to control objects within the group, you have to use this plus arrow tool with the white plus arrow tool, which means you can go ahead and click inside the circle here and reposition it to another position here, like that. Now you can't do this with the gradient tool because it's only one object, but this has more than one object, so you can definitely control the blend this way. So it's a different way of achieving the results, different way of controlling it. As far as control, people like this technique a lot better, so you can definitely do that. So gradient tool, blend tool. Now the next one, some say save the best for last. I like all of them, to be honest with you, but a lot of people love this next one I'm going to show you. And it's called the gradient mesh tool. And the way the gradient mesh tool works is you start off with the darkest, possible, or the base color. In this case, black would be my base color. And then I'm going to add the highlights on top of the black fill. All right. So to do that, I'm going to go to the gradient mesh tool. Again, it's a by itself here. It's to access it, you just have to select it. Looking for the shortcut to pop up. U. And if you see how it works, you can just create and edit mesh and mesh envelopes within the object. Sounds easy, but you have to be very instrumental on how you apply it. So again, pick your base color, like black, no stroke. Okay. Let me show you what happens if there's a stroke. It'll totally mess things up. I'll go back to the blend tool for a second. Let me do like, I don't know, 5 steps again. Let me apply a stroke. Okay. The stroke will interfere with the blend. So then it'll look like every object is outlined. And if you do have 256 steps with an outline, it'll look like a mess. It won't look that nice. Look, let's do 200 just to kind of, right? That'll look like that because the stroke became the dominant factor and the blend is no longer utilized. So that's why you don't want to have a stroke when you do a blend. I wanted to show you the results so you know what not to do. So sorry, kind of drag on the topic longer than necessary, but I want everybody to grasp this. So back here, no stroke, just the fill. Always use no strokes, no outlines, okay? But back to the blend tool, let's put the 200 steps back. 200 is enough, by the way. You don't have to put 256. That's enough for the blend. All right, the gradient mesh tool. What that same rules apply. No stroke, base color. In this case, we'll use black. We're going to go right to the mesh tool, which the shortcut we already discussed. It's the letter U. Once you're in the mesh tool, what you want to do is click inside of the object. In this case, I'll click on the top left corner again, focusing on the light attribute. And because I have created an intersection or intersecting point, I will go over ahead and pick this white swatch. What's going to happen is it's going to blend the white to the rest of the base color, which is the black. In result, I'm going to get this shape that looks like this. So all three circles look three-dimensional. They're considered an advanced fill, and they all serve a different purpose. And you can pick the one that works for you. This is a more like a flat, matted kind of look. This is a more concentrated, lighting, shiny look. This is the more three-dimensional material sphere look. So it's up to you which look you like. Now I'm going to take this a step further, okay, and demonstrate how this mesh tool can work in a more of a added type of color combination effect. So you can basically click on this object. And if you go back to the mesh tool, and the trick is to click on the intercepting point. See, let's call this the Y and this is the X axis. You don't want to just click anywhere because it'll create a disruptive point like that. I mean, unless you like the effect and it will work, you can kind of do this. It's hard to control something like that later on. Right? It looks a little too buffed up. So what you want to do is to keep this in control is to keep this perpendicular to the existing axis. So see how I'm following this axis here. And if I interrupt it this way, I'm adding another point, but minimizing the amount of points I have. So this way I have more control of them. I'm going to go and pick like another color, like a yellow here. Now I'm going to go ahead and follow the vertical axis and click over here, interrupt it this way. And I'll pick this nice light blue color, for example. Now, by default, it created this formation here because I intercepted this and made that. I intercepted here, I created this one, then I clicked on that one. Same thing with this one here. I can use the white arrow tool now, the direct selection tool, and I can control and edit these points, or I can even change the color of them as well. Okay. So all in all, you can really have some fun with this mesh tool as you keep building additional colors on top of it. But our goal was to make the 1, 2, 3. So this was just an added bonus. Things that you can do here, you can't really apply on the other ones. It's just harder to control. Now to take this really, really to the next level, I'm going to show you how you can apply the gradient mesh tool on top of an actual object like the banana. Now, some of you are still maybe not finished your application splash banners. If you still have a few days to get it done, I might even give you till the end of the week. I'll see how the class goes, but I want you to apply this method if it can help you. So hope it's enough time for you to do this because you can technically trace or recreate anything using this technique. Okay, so let's go ahead and start it. I'm going to quickly do a save as first. The 3 circles, advanced fills. I'll save this as an Illustrator file right inside my computer here. Right. So now that we exploited all the 3 methods of fills, let's see how we can recreate something that even AI can't do just yet. Control and recreate a realistic image onto Illustrator. And you can do this with almost anything. It all depends on the level of concentration and the level of detail that you apply to this. Okay, so let's go ahead and do that. Just to make sure if my things are working here. And if I do have an audience today. There we go. I see some students show up. Hello and good morning, guys. Ladies and gentlemen, hello. I'm just going to continue. Can you guys see my screen okay? Give me a quick thumbs up. We're good to go. You can hear me. You can see my screen. Perfect. All right. So I'm going to create a new file this time. Same 8.5 by 11 landscape. It's similar to the way we did the other exercises in the past by tracing an illustration or a realistic photo. I even had a student do someone's face, like a human face. You can also do this on. You still have to add levels of detail afterwards. But far as simpler things, I suggest things like fruits, vegetables, objects, things like that. So first things first, let's place our drawing or image that we want to recreate. In this case, it's the banana. I will make sure the link is disabled and the banana JPEG file is selected. I'm going to click and drag the mouse to the desired size and proportion. I think that's good enough. All right. And after all, this is an image. As you can see here, it's an image of a banana, and it does get jagged after a while. And of course, it's a pretty good quality photo, but our job is to recreate it in vector. And we all know the benefits of having a vector file as opposed to an image file that's indestructible. So we're going to treat this like a template, which means we're going to open up the layers panel. Okay. If you're not sure where it is, just look for the layers panel here. You can always look for stuff in the help menu. Like if you type in layers in the help menu, it'll basically show you where it is in the application. Okay. Layers. See, it tells you exactly where everything is. So whenever you're looking for something, the help menu, don't be afraid to use it. Just thought I'd mention that. So this is layer one. By default, everything in Illustrator is a layer. Even an object becomes a layer or a sub-object in a layer. So you can just double click here on the side, convert this into a template, and just call it template. Template. Check on template. What checking on template will do is you can even pick a color and stuff for the default. It'll dim the images to 50%, which means it'll be like a translucent image. And it'll be locked and it won't show, it won't preview, and things like that. So you just want to check this on, just give it a name and click OK. This way you can't really do anything to that layer. It's locked by default. Also, the template layer is visible with the technique I'm showing you, which is called the navigator. So you want to make sure you do this exact thing. If you don't, you might not be able to get the results you're looking for. So make sure you make this an actual template, because if you just lock it and do these other similar things that look like a template but it's not a template, it won't work. So please make sure you do exactly that. All right, now we're going to create a new layer. So we're going to go over here to the little plus icon. By creating a new layer, this is where we're tracing the actual banana. Okay, so we're going to trace the banana here. We're going to go ahead and create the layer. So layer 2 is our tracing layer. Now we're not going to trace this with the pen tool because that'll defeat the purpose of showing you the technique I am going to get into in a moment. But if you were to do a traditional, let's say drawing, you could trace it with the pen tool. Students would do that, and then they would trace another object over here and then fill that like yellow and blend it and stuff. There's another way to do that, of course. There's tons of tutorials doing it. Like the way we treated the sun last week, same thing. We created the objects separately and blended them. But when it's something more realistic, like a banana, I think the gradient mesh tool will do a lot more than the other methods in terms of time invested in execution. So lo and behold, let's start this thing. So I'm not going to use the pen tool. I'm going to refrain from it and just use the rectangle tool to start with. And why the rectangle tool? Because the rectangle has a total of 4 points. And once we intercept it, it creates the 9 points, and then that multiplies and so on and so forth, which gives you a level of control when it comes to creating mesh points. So the rectangle tool is how to start anything. Even if it's an apple, you still use a rectangle. We'll do an apple on Wednesday, okay? When we're in class together. But for this one, I'm going to use a rectangle. I'm going to draw it like that. So it's lengthy like the banana. If it was an apple, it'd be a square. A banana, it'd be a rectangle because it's elongated. And I'm going to just move it over to the top here and match the base color. So I'm going to match the most popular color that I see here dominate the image, which is the yellow, of course. So I'm going to use the eyedropper tool and fill this yellow right here. Maybe I'll like a brighter yellow, darker yellow. I'll go with the darker yellow. This one seems to be dominating more. So I'll pick this like a gold yellow color for the banana. Okay. And after that, I'm going to add the highlights on top. So you're going to see how that'll play out afterwards. Okay. So this is my base color, which is go for the darker color. So if it's like a darker red, darker yellow, darker green, you want to go with the darker base. You can always add the highlights on top, as I like to say. Okay. So once this is done now, we're going to open up what's called the navigator. Okay. The navigator is like a second monitor screen in Illustrator. A lot of people don't know this navigator thing, but it's really, really cool. So you want to make this window as big as you can because this will be your main navigator, okay? You can actually zoom in here and concentrate on how this works. See, that's what the navigator does. You can zoom in and zoom out. All right. So you can navigate this way with the space bar, or you can navigate this way with the mouse here on the window. So the navigator palette has to be visible. The info goes with it, but the navigator is what we're after. Okay. Just enough so you can see both at the same time. Now we're going to expand this object to match all the possible drawing points for the banana shape. Now, banana is the more difficult fruit. I could have chosen an apple and done this quicker, but I think it's good to kind of show you the more advanced stuff because you're probably going to wonder and say, well, how about if I want to do a banana or I want to do a pear or something else? So just to show you, this could be almost anything. So here's the rectangle. Here's the mesh tool. So it's all about the mesh tool and how you create more points. Just like I demonstrated with the circle earlier. But only this time I'm going to purposely go and click in the middle of the object to create the intersection of points for the mesh colors to be added. So basically on this rectangle that you make, you click in the middle using the mesh tool, and this will create the intersecting points I'm looking for. I'm going to go maybe halfway this way, okay, and do it again, intercepting the horizontal axis, same as the right. So now I have more points. Depends on the complexity of the shape of the banana. It might be more or less. So I'm going to do another one over here and another one over here. Okay, so I'm kind of adding more details on the edges and less details in the middle because you can see the shape how, you know, I have to morph it to look like the banana. So it's like creating like a mesh object in 3D. You can add more or less points, but I think this is enough to start with. So just split in the middle and then maybe split it in the middle again and maybe split the ends in the middle also. So it goes like smaller, bigger, bigger, then smaller, smaller. I think that's a good way to start. Even if it's not perfect this way, you can still do it. It's a good starting point. Now we're going to create it right here. I'm going to press Command Y. Remember outline mode? and preview mode. This is your best friend using this technique. The whole point of the navigator is to show you a preview of what the colors are. The technical view in Illustrator of Command Y, which is outline mode, is to show you the points of where they're located. So it's a really strategic, advanced technique on creating advanced drawings. Okay. All right. Now let's go morph this to the banana object. To morph it, we're going to use the direct selection tool, which is the white arrow tool. And we're going to start by simply moving these points to their respective positions. So I'm going to move this over here, move this over here, basically resize this according to the banana, move this up here, move this over here, and move this one up here, move this all the way here, move this over here, and just simply reconstruct the anchor points. This is not going to be easy, but it's not really complicated either. You just have to understand that you're thinking like a computer, like a three-dimensional model, because this is what this basically is. You're creating the mesh to match your design. So I'm just dragging these points to the edges of my target, which is the banana, and I'm reconfiguring the anchor points to match the actual orientation. So that's what I'm doing basically. See, I'm moving this over here. And all you're doing is resizing these little anchor handles. It takes a while to get used to, but trust me, once you where to use the pen tool before, so you're not really that unfamiliar with these anchor points, but now you're really, really wielding the power of Illustrator like no one else, okay? Because this is how this stuff is really, really meant to be. All right, let's move this over here. Same kind of deal. Move this. This is the middle. Just be careful when you do this part because you got to make sure these are the outside edges and those are the inside edges. And all you do later is just straighten them out. Straighten them out meaning you do this, like spread it out to the right angle. You just open these up, okay? Open them up, stretch them out, stretch them in, bring them back the way they're supposed to kind of look like. And this guy, just open it up. Just open this up a little bit too. And the benefit of doing this is because you're applying a mesh color combination, it's going to be that much more easier for you to capture this color essence of the fruits and simulate the real lifelike design of it like no other. It's quite remarkable how this technique works. When we're done, you'll see. So this is the tedious part. It might be the hardest part if you ask me. And then after that is the more tedious parts coming up. But once you master this, you should be good to go. Just gonna make this a little smaller. If you feel like you need to add more points, you always can. Okay, you can always add more points by simply, going back to the mesh tool. You can see here how I constructed my banana. By the way, you can press Command Y, and it took me, no more than 5 to 10 minutes to recreate the shape of the banana using a gradient mesh rectangle object that I created from scratch. All I did was reconfigure these points using the white anchor point tool. All right. Keep it minimal. You don't want to overdo it. But you see, just to show you how to add more points and why this is very beneficial is the fact that you can you go back to the mesh tool. As soon as I click to the top point here, I just made another linear spine on this area. And that might be good for the highlight that I'm going to create. Okay. Same like I can click over here and make another linear mesh. Really powerful technique, guys. Okay. So you want to be careful when you do this because I don't want this to overlap here. So that's why you want to make sure you do it in such a way that you kind of only do it when you need to. Okay. So I just added one more here and I think that's enough. Maybe I can another one over here like that. Another one over here. So I'm interfering the vertical axis. Okay. Maybe I'll add another one over here. because there's a lot of detail here, right? And then this has to be, move this in here so I can have some space. There we go. Okay. Right. Depends on the level of detail, because this might be, the actual stem. There's some colors here I gotta grab after, so this might work out. Now, this doesn't have to be perfect either, because no one's gonna be able to see the real banana. The result will be basically what I create from the illustration perspective, not from the banana itself. So no one's gonna see the real thing except us, because we're the ones that are creating it to begin with. All right, so just be careful with these mesh points. It could get a little finicky sometimes. Just have a nice control of them like that. You can see ultimately what the shape looks like to what you're starting. If you do mess it up and it doesn't work out quite well, do it again. Trust me, it's better to restart than to try to fix it. I've done this before too, so I had to redo it again a few times. All right, so now that we have the base done, we have the object. We re-simulated the shape of the banana using a rectangle tool by adding extra points and controlling those anchor points, positions, and curves and attributes. We were retracing this wonderful, banana design. Now we're able to add the colors. Okay, so for that one, you need to use the direct selection tool, this white arrow tool again, very specific. You're going to use the eyedropper to sample the colors of the original content. But instead of you going back and forth to the eyedropper and the white selection tool, what I prefer you do is you do it like 3 times, 1, 2, 3, just to get familiar with it. Once you're in the eyedropper tool, hold the control key, because the control key will select the last selection tool. In this case, the white arrow tool. So instead of you going click and click back and forth, just hold the control key. And this will enable you to select the anchor points that you want. After you let go of the control key or the command key on the Mac, you can sample the color that's close to the approximate area for you to match the color. In this case, I'll match this green color. You can see how it's affecting that shade right away. So command, click, and click on the lighter color, okay? And then spacebar. So command, click, click on this color, command, click on. So you're just clicking colors that are in approximate vicinities of the objects. Sometimes it's going to be hit and miss, and sometimes you can get the real colors. It depends on how this works. So let's go ahead and try a few ourselves, and then we'll see where this will take us. Looking at the resemblance over here. Might take a few tries to get this perfectly done. Maybe I'll create another interference over here. I need another mesh. There we go. It's interfering a little bit over here. I added a little too many. And anyways, that's okay. I'm not going to get too concerned about the level of detail here. So eyedropper again, command click, okay, and eyedropper again. You can always fix it after with the details. You can see how it's forming my colors that I want. Okay, so command click, fill the colors again. I'm going to keep going this way now. So command click, fill the color, command click, fill this color, command click. For you, it's control if you have a PC. I'm going to fill this color here, command click, pick on the lighter color, and command click, do it again. Here I am now with these other parts. I'm going to go ahead and do these ones, the darker pixels, the brownish effects on the banana, like that. Again, Command click, Command click, Command click. You don't have to get every point that's there, but I mean, the more you get, the better it's going to look, right? And even down here, you can go Command click and get this darker base. Oh, that's going to look, it's a pretty nice, realistic look, actually. Let me get this one as well. Command click. Pretty nice base. I'm going to zoom out now to show you the final result. You can see it's already looking like a nice banana. But just by me simulating these points and grabbing the colors, respective colors, I'm able to reproduce this. Ready? Ta-da! Command Y. There it is. Okay. And all started with a bunch of points that I created and me trying to simulate a realistic banana look. Okay. Now, if you want the line to be more rigid, if it's a little too blended in, you could definitely concentrate the anchor points with the mesh tool again. I'm just going to go click over here one more time and basically use my, let me go back to Command Y mode here. I'm just going to sharpen up the blend a little more so it's a little more linear. You can see why I'm doing that. Okay. So you can kind of get a more linear, controlled look like you had them with the original banana. All right. And if you want that drastic line here, maybe I should have just kind of used more sharper colors. And just by me selecting different colors, you can get different results. It's never going to be the same every time you redo this. But again, look how nice you can, in a matter of minutes, as long as you construct it properly, you can recreate almost any type of realistic drawing or shape on top of it. Okay. What I meant to say was drawing, and then you can trace on top of it to create additional shapes as well. Quite remarkable using this gradient mesh tool technique, thanks to our navigator palette and thanks to our, Command Y preview mode, outline mode, visibility toggle back and forth. And of course, we're using our layers. Make sure you have the template layer. Because if this wasn't a template, here, let me show you what happens if it's not a template. Okay. And if you press Command Y, if you're drawing, you can't see the original picture to match the colors. See, it's invisible. Okay. So you have to make sure when you're doing a template, the template has to be on. Only then you can see the background colors, as you can see now that I have. So make sure those are the little things I see people sometimes miss and not be able to acquire the same results. All right, so I hope you found this insightful and interesting. I did not want to pass the opportunity to not show you this for, especially for our final week. So when I see you Wednesday, we can do another review on this mesh tool, and I can perhaps maybe answer some questions and help you with some other matters as well. All right, so that's it for the class and the lesson. I just thought maybe you can try this at home, and I'll see you Wednesday. Okay, so thanks for showing up for those of you that did come here, and wish you all a happy Thanksgiving again, and I'll see you when I see you next time. Bye for now.
Bye. Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving, guys. Gonna gonna show my face here for a second. Hey, happy Thanksgiving. Take care,
Bye.
folks. Okay, see you Wednesday. Bye bye.
See you.
Bye bye.